Climate Emergency by Edgar Alan Potty. Take 1 or 2. As they followed each other like sheep through the crowded city streets, blind to their direction, due to being fixated by the little screen, following by instinct, learned from an early age the footsteps of those in front, they brought Friday afternoon traffic to a standstill. One of the boys among the mass of tweeting climate extinction PC warriors for our Gore chanced to look up and saw something that caused his bowels to loosen. It was a dark thundercloud. It was the first time in his life he had seen a thundercloud, having been kept indoors away from danger and the sun by his ever-present feminist mother, who had taken up residence with a male gay couple so as to give proper guidance to her son on all kinds of matters relevant to the PC warriors of the tweeting age. Having been well warned about the climate emergency extinction, he screamed a blood-curdling scream at the sight in the sky, a looming dark mass of foreboding menace. The crowd marched through the streets against the extinction event, being told by Al Gore and spread by the media across the land, struggled to get their head above the level. Having spent a lifetime looking down at the little screen, learning all about the world and its imminent end from the BuzzFeed they all relied upon for their education and news. A girl already as pale as ghost, having very rarely set foot outdoors, herself being a real greenie, screamed a scream of pent-up frustration, caused by never being able to be free of the iPad and having sent numerous nude pics to her numerous boyfriends. Her anger and anxiety broke in a torrent of rage and fear of imminent death, brought on by last night's national broadcast by Al Gore and his Extinction event speech, which has spellbound much of the nation. She ripped at her own throat with her long sharpened nails, tearing at her own flesh, and their blood spurted onto the people around her. She had extinguished herself. She was the first of many that dark and stormy afternoon in Melbourne. Suddenly, the adrenaline caused by the panic spreading like wildfire across the kerosene grass through the mass of PC warriors for Al Gore, many managed to look upwards, difficult though it was to strain the neck in such an unnatural manner. Seeing the dark mass above, much of the mass dropped like stones, almost as one, to the tarmac at the sight of the dark cloud above, suddenly erupting in a mass of squirming, writhing, thrashing arms and legs in one great giant temper tantrum. Some banging heads violently against the road. Many began to bleed the pale-coloured blood of the oxygen deficient, which accounted also for the pale green demeanour of their faces. "You can always tell a greenie," a passerby announced, "by the colour of their skin and their forever gaping mouth." A bolt of lightning shook the writhing mass. The thunderstorm broke upon the city. Bolts of lightning lit up the macabre scene of writhing, screaming, kicking and thrashing bodies, causing the PC warriors for Al Gore to erupt in an almighty scream that came from the bowels of hell they all imagined they had descended into. Thousands of writhing, thrashing PC warriors were suddenly joined by numerous shoppers, already on edge because of last night's dire warning by Al Gore. They caught the Extinction frenzy. Suddenly it became breaking news across the land. The raw images spread by the massive iPads of thousands of writhing, thrashing young bodies getting pelted by heavy raindrops, mixing in their blood with the rain, as Collins Street flowed red, brown and pink with a deluge of water and body fluids. The situation was not helped by ABC SBS reporters, sweat running down their faces, knowing they had sent their own children and their staff along. They announced the climate extinction emergency was upon us. We are all doomed because of Tony Abbott and his right-wing floozy Pauline Hanson, the working man's whore they were calling her. They are responsible for this. Cities of Australia suddenly, as a mass, went into meltdown. No one ever questioning the authority of the media, Twitter, Al Gore and his extinction event that he had announced. Mass adrenaline began pumping into the arteries across the nation. Mate murdered mate, wife murdered husband, children were thrown around like rag dolls. Teenagers smashed everything in their rage. Release at last after decades of politicians spreading extinction fear into the people. As politicians sat quietly saying to each other, this collateral damage, it was all predicted. And look, it's going to save an awful lot on the welfare bill. Shoppers ran riot through David Jones and Myers, grabbing anything they could, some shouting, if it is the end, why are you bothering? I'm going to the bottle shop, which was at that moment the only sensible option left, and to hide with the bottle in some dark corner until this was over. Harbour Tools and City Rail became places of nightmare and mass slaughter as the PC warriors got out of their own cars and went along carriages and began smashing into any car that had any old white person inside, began butchering their way through the tunnel and carriages as it was realised there was no escape. All the white folk, being rather tougher than the PC warriors had anticipated, began to fight back, joined by non-whites that had been brought up to respect their elders, and soon got the upper hand. The whole mob erupted in a blood-curdling orgy of killing. Loud adult shouts of "fucking greenies, kill the fucking lot," and spurred on the multicultural mob, fed up of higher power balls to appease the few dumb white elitist kids. The storm in Melbourne intensified. Rain came down in torrents, hail battered the still writhing and screaming bodies, some becoming aware this was not right, demanding in incandescent rage on their iPhones, "Mum, come and get them now." Mum already dead, caught up in a massacre in underground railways. Thousands died, many were seriously maimed, many with heads caved in at the back due to smashing their heads in temper, would never tweet again other than to utter the words as the only sound they could make from then on a short time in the future. He tweet no more, and that was the total of his life score upon thousands and thousands of headstones. As batteries began to fade, they had turned upon each other, and the extinction event forecast just last night by Al Gore took place right there and then. Al Gore was praised by everyone as being an excellent judge of humanity and climate change. Adam Bant appeared on ABC, shaking with excitement, smiling and laughing, childishly, hardly able to hide his joyous emotion. He announced with glee, "I had warned there would be an extinction event. Look what Tony Abbott and Pauline Hanson have caused." And so it was, an extinction event. Half of the PC warriors within the cities and many older white people had died a terrible death on that Friday afternoon, simply because one boy had never seen a dark cloud before. The thunderstorm passed, the sun came out. The ABC, having lost most of their children and many of their alternative sex members in the massacre, declared the climate emergency was over.